front seat, I get blah, blah. Rise like the dust, I get blah. Rise like the dust, I get high.
We're here with Amazumi right after her absolutely electric set. It was fucking wild. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about your outfit first of all? Because you're looking like a shaman on stage or something. It was amazing.
Actually, I do. I think like over time I've realized I'm kind of channeling the shaman in me, because I've delved so much deeper into my roots right now, and I come from an indigenous tribe in Nepal, and they have a lot of shamanistic rituals. So I feel like unknowingly I started channeling that on stage and in my music, and you saw the intro as well. That was pretty much me. That was my beat. I kind of made that on my phone one day. And recently I went to Nepal and realized that the sounds that my friend captured in this village where my mother's tribes come from, it sounded exactly like what I'd made years ago without even knowing what they sounded like. So I think, yeah, exactly. And well, this is actually a lata or chulti dago, and it's something that Nepalese girls wear, and it's an ornamental thing, and we wear it every day and for special occasions as well. So I paired that with my kimono-ish howery that I found on Depop. So I paired that up, and that's what it is. Yeah.
Now, her band isn't behind us right now. I was kind of hoping we could get your band with the full masks and everybody behind us, like I've just been abducted by our demons. But do you want to tell us why you had everyone dressed up that way?
I don't know. I think it just happened very naturally, because whenever I perform, I've always been putting on what I call war paint. So I put on things on my chin and my like markings on my skin, and it's probably seeing me do that I think for themselves, it was very natural to start wanting to also put on something on stage, because it feels like you are ready for war. It's like your little armor that you put on stage. And yeah, the demon mask, because that's the sort of energy I bring, and all of my songs are pretty dark as well. So we went with the Oni masks, it's called, from Japan. Yeah. So you kind of like get energized even more when you wear something. So it's an experience. Yeah, for me, I think like every concert or performance has to be an experience, like an immersive experience, and not just me performing for the people. It really has to be everyone involved, so that's why.
Just gonna keep talking about your performance, but it was very polished, I felt like, and it was you were very confident on stage. You clearly knew what you were doing, especially when you came down off the crowd and got everyone down. So do you ever get nervous before a performance, or do you like channel that into your performance? Talk to me a little bit about your thinking before you get on stage.
My thinking. I don't have any thoughts before I go on stage. I'm just always like busy trying to prepare things, and it's only the very last few seconds when I'm about to go on and I see people that I feel butterflies. So I still get that, and I feel like it's more adrenaline than anything. And yeah, I think it's a bit of nerves, you're human, but I do channel. As soon as I step on the stage and the music starts, everything disappears, and I am just yeah, I surrender. I surrender to whatever is out there, the ether.
Now, your music's provocative, it's loud, it's in your face, but you seem to flow over it with this ease and funk. So I was just wondering what your influences are.
Damn, influences. I would say that, well, my first introduction to rap was Rage Against the Machine, so it was more rap metal. And I think you can hear a bit of that. But I've also, I also listen to Hiatus Coyote, for example, and very groovy stuff. And it's a mixture of everything. There's a bit of metalcore as well. There's a bit of R&B, and I think more along the lines of FKJ. Do you know FKJ? Masego, those vibes, very Colors Berlin type of sound, Yeah. So today I didn't actually play some of the songs that are much more melodic, but you could hear some bits in between, right? So I think when I build another set in the future, I'll try and combine both, because I do have other sides that I'm exploring, and yeah. So you probably heard some today.
You guys have great chemistry together on stage. How long has your band been together?
Well, it's not a band per se. I actually play with different people in every country. So in Belgium, I've got a Japanese drummer and this Polish Belgian bassist. They both come from different backgrounds. The drummer used to play in J-rock bands and tour around Europe. And then you have the bassist. She's actually a drummer in a post-metal band. So we all have different projects, and I have that there. It hasn't been very long with them, maybe a couple of years. But with the guys I play with today, I know the drummer for a very long time. So we kind of go back to Hong Kong. We're both Nepalese, but we also have grown up some years in Hong Kong, and that's where we knew each other through our dads, I guess. Both of our dads were in the British Army, and they always had these gatherings, and that's how we met. So it wasn't until he came to the UK and I joined later on that we somehow realized we're both on the same musical path. He was doing his own thing, I was doing my own thing. And I actually don't even remember when I asked him to play with me. No, I think it was, there was a thing called Women in Concert that this rock star from Nepal, she organized. And that's when he was in this band that was playing for all the girls that were playing in that concert. And then we continued from there. But he's really seen my evolution over time. So we've been around I think we go a long way. But the other guys I met in the past maybe four years or so, and we've played some festivals together in the UK, and then Nepal I've got another band now. It's a metalcore band. Yeah, because it is quite difficult to get people to travel with you. I think a bigger party is very hard to tour with because they have to arrange tickets for everyone, and I think that kind of makes it very, it's a bit of a challenge to actually make a tour happen with your entire band in every country. So I decided to just ask local bands, and that was the best thing I did though, because I went to tour Nepal recently, and there are these guys, they're barely 19, and they played the set on their own. I had never met them. We connected online, because we loved each other's music. They make metalcore, I make a bit of hip hop and industrial stuff. And as soon as I landed, it was like 18 hours flight in transit. I went straight to rehearse for 2 hours, and then we played the next day. And then we toured for 2 weeks. And it was sick, but when the chemistry's there, it's there, right? So we had a great time, and yeah. The bands are some of them I know recently, some of them are a long time, so yeah.
This is the last leg on your international tour. So do you want to talk to me a little bit about your tour and talk to me a bit about RIOT, what it means, what it represents?
Well, RIOT is the latest EP that I dropped, and it was basically about being human and all the inner turmoils and the outer turmoils that you face, and writing against it, because sometimes, Zach from Rage, he actually said anger is a gift in one of his songs, and I tend to channel that, because in real life I'm a very friendly person. But I think there's a lot of shit that I'm suppressing, so it comes out when I am on my own or in certain situations, and I try to channel that into the EP. You have tracks called Do Not Obey, Do You Want to Escape, RIOT, Not Okay. There was also things about, Not Okay is about losing a lot of people in my life. I think it was since I was a kid, seeing one person die in every school was really traumatic for me. And I lost a lot of peers to suicide. There were rappers, there were schoolmates, and the whole track is about that. It's just that we're not okay. And sometimes we I don't know if it's the culture, we pretend that, everything's going to be all right, but then we don't realize that we have to get help. So, yeah. So I feel like music has really helped me. I think if I didn't have music, I'd have a very tough time. So RIOT is actually about that. And the tour it started from Belgium. I did a festival, then it came down to the UK, did some festivals here, and then I went straight to Nepal for 2 weeks. Very intense 2 weeks. Had ups and downs. I don't know why. We always attracted trouble. We're not troublemakers, but somehow we always got into some shit. But that made it all the more adventurous. And I also, I guess, I got exposed to the Nepalese music scene. I was very, surprised by the way they received me. I think for them it was like, oh, there's this girl, this is a Nepalese girl who's doing something like this that's very different, and they haven't seen something like this. In fact, the metal, for example, the metal scene, underground scene has kind of died, and now there are scenes that are just split up and trying to do their own thing. But I don't know if it's a game plan, but I feel like I'm gravitating towards just building a community of all sorts of genres and not having the separation, because artists really need each other. And that's why I saw Nepal, because it's a lot of commercial artists that kind of get all the money, they get all the the exposure, and you have incredible artists who just don't get that platform. And also there is no actual concert hall in Nepal, and that's the only thing I see in Belgium is concert venues. So it was a huge contrast. I was just like, this is insane. Yeah, the infrastructure's not there, and the way it works is it's always playing in bars and restaurants and clubs. It's a huge thing. Of course, there are events every day, but the setting, I feel like it doesn't provide a place to nurture artists, and it's very money driven. You've got alcohol sponsors; they're the main ones, and without them, I mean, they don't have any gigs to play. Or places to play. So my plan is to kind of help build a concert hall maybe one day with a cool infrastructure and state-of-the-art equipment, and I'm gonna find ways. That's the plan. So yeah.
Speaking KCR's language right now, a lack of infrastructure, not liking the corporate avenues that are open. It's KCR's language, I love it. All right, we'll have final question. Just your general experiences as a Nepalese woman in the music industry over the years. How has it been?
I think I've always felt like I didn't belong anywhere. First of all, not just being a woman, not just being a Nepalese person, but I guess because I moved around. My parents moved us around quite a bit when we were young. I mean, I've lived in Nepal, I've lived in India, I've lived in Hong Kong, and then I lived in the UK for a bit, and then now in Belgium. And I've always felt a bit of an outsider in every aspect, I guess. With the music that I'm making as well, it doesn't fit anywhere. And yeah, the fact that I'm female, I don't know, sometimes it's advantageous, I guess, because they I don't know if I want the special treatment, but they kind of treat you a little differently when it's a female doing something different. But in Nepal, I don't see as many women. I've literally seen like 3 women who are doing something and have established themselves in a very male-dominated scene. And those 3 women were the ones who actually came out to watch me perform. No. Well, they were in different venues, and they somehow came to support me, and they come from different genres. One of them is actually doing a lot of field research in our indigenous group. They all happen to be from the same indigenous group as I come from. But I saw that they kind of regard me as someone who can carry the torch for them, maybe, because they were so interested in making sure that I was navigating the path well, because they know what it's like and what challenges there are. So it was nice to have their support and to see that they, because they're very respectable artists, and for me that was a huge deal. But yeah, I think it's still very scarce to see a lot of women doing what I do, and I hope to see more of that. But I guess we have to find ways to push girls out there, because there are girls, but it's just they don't get the platform. Yeah. I hope, exactly, because I saw a lot of girls in the audience in Nepal, and I could feel that they, I hope that they were motivated enough to also want to do the same thing if they're interested. Yeah. So.
Thank you very much. Go check out Amazumi's EP Riots on all streaming platforms, and make sure you go catch her live, because it's fucking wild. Thank you.
Let's go.